We are indoctrinated with the belief that achieving true wealth is a mechanical endeavor, a cold, hard exercise in optimization. We are told you simply identify the optimal mathematical strategy, maximize the returns, adhere rigidly to the formulas, and victory is inevitable. This, however, is the single biggest and most destructive lie in modern finance. Your long-term, what you are about to witness is not a simple audiobook summary. It is a strategic, transformative review and critical application of Morgan Housel's core principles. We are rigorously applying his timeless lessons to the extreme volatility of the 2020s, the unpredictable digital investment space, the persistent threat of the inflation crisis, and the unique, crippling financial pressure faced by the modern American earner. We provide high-level, unique commentary and actionable strategies that move far beyond merely reciting the book's contents. Our objective is singular: to equip you with the mental armor required to achieve sustained financial freedom and the highest possible revenue targets, regardless of external market collapse. Trap 1. The Luck Paradox. The greatest trap that destroys early success is the insidious confusion of extreme skill with pure, unpredictable luck. Housel's insight is profoundly destabilizing. Luck and risk are not opposites. They are two sides of the same indifferent coin, and they are utterly inseparable. We meticulously study the one person who got rich from a high-risk bet, and we conveniently ignored the tens of thousands who took the exact same action and were financially obliterated. This selective vision does more than just mislead. It leads directly to an extreme, unearned personal arrogance. You must internalize this truth. The sheer chaos of the world, the external factors you can never control, will always play a far greater role than your own intellect or financial IQ. The goal is not to eliminate risk. That is impossible. The goal is to build a financial system so robust, so fortified, that it can survive when that random, destructive luck eventually turns against you. Law 2. The Power of Enough. The greatest financial failure, the one that renders all previous success meaningless, is the inability to determine with absolute clarity when you have enough. Housel labels this the man in the car paradox. A powerful, successful individual, having built immense wealth and influence, continues to relentlessly chase just a little more, taking on crippling, high-stakes risks that are completely unnecessary, and consequently loses everything they worked for. Strategic commentary. For the high-stakes digital investor, this is the definitive last big trade trap. The moment you allow pure greed to convince you that you need one final massive return, you have willfully handed your financial survival over to fate. Your strategic discipline must be absolute. You must define your enough figure before the trade is placed, before the investment is made. If you cannot define your own stopping point, the market will define it for you, and it will do so without mercy. Law 3. The Magic of Compounding. The most powerful financial force in the universe is not an investment vehicle, it is a behavioral habit. Warren Buffett's fortune did not result from him being the smartest investor in the world, nor was it from the highest returns. It came from starting early and having the staggering, decades-long patience to simply wait. His entire legacy can be distilled into this profound, simple truth: time is the multiplier. Strategic commentary. For the modern high-income earner, the constant pressure of lifestyle inflation, the urge to buy status, is the ultimate saboteur of compounding. Every single dollar you spend on a status symbol today is literally hundreds of thousands of dollars lost in future compounding growth. The discipline required is immense, but the reward is greater. You must choose to look boring in the short term to become financially unstoppable in the long term. This is a choice between instant gratification and infinite growth. Law 4. The price of fear, the tail event. The biggest rewards in investing do not come from 100 small, brilliant decisions. They come from a few massive, unpredictable tail events, a tiny percentage of choices that deliver 99% of your total lifetime returns. But to be fully invested and present for that tail event, you must survive the numerous small failures and corrections along the way. Most people panic and sell during a downturn because they erroneously treat market volatility like a traffic fine, an unexpected, painful expense that must be avoided at all costs. The strategic investor, the one who wins in the long term, must treat volatility like rent, a known, unavoidable, and necessary expense of operating in the market. You pay the price, the temporary market drop, calmly, without emotion, and you wait patiently for the tail event that delivers true wealth. This is the fee for admission to the greatest wealth creation machine ever devised. The foundational principle of survival is building an unshakable financial fortress, a strong cash buffer that can weather any market storm without forcing you into panic selling. This fortress acts as your impenetrable defensive line. It must be disciplined, it must be automatic, and it must meticulously track every dollar of income and every dollar of expense. If you are serious about surviving inevitable tail events, you cannot rely on manual willpower alone. You need tools that automate the discipline of saving and tracking your burn rate. We have compiled and linked our top-rated, proven budgeting and financial tracking software in the description directly below this video. Do not view this as an optional purchase. View it as the ultimate insurance policy, the asset that protects all your other assets. This automated discipline is non-negotiable for hitting strategic targets. Law 5. Getting wealthy versus staying wealthy. These are two entirely different skill sets, often requiring opposite temperaments. Getting rich requires optimism, high risk tolerance, and aggressive momentum. Staying rich requires the complete antithesis, paranoia, extreme prudence, and an absolute obsession with survival. Financial history is littered with brilliant minds who excelled at Phase 1 but utterly destroyed themselves in Phase 2 because they forgot this fundamental distinction. They never stopped chasing the high-risk return. Strategic commentary. For the modern online entrepreneur, the individual focused on building a steady income stream, this means you must never, under any circumstances, leverage your current revenue to its maximum limit for quick expansion. Always maintain a massive cash cushion large enough to survive a 6-month YouTube algorithm change, an unexpected tax bill, or an affiliate policy shift. Risk is a necessary tool for growth, but over-leveraging is financial suicide. Survival is your long-term moat. Law 6. The value of freedom. While most people believe the highest dividend money pays is the luxury of status, Housel argues this is fundamentally incorrect. The single highest return on capital is the ability to maintain absolute control over your own time. Wealth is a tool designed to buy autonomy, not just goods. If your job compensates you handsomely, but in exchange it demands 80 hours a week, constant stress, and requires you to answer every email immediately, you are financially rich, but tragically time poor. You have successfully sold your most precious, non-renewable asset, your time, for more paper money. The ultimate strategic objective is to use your wealth to eliminate the things you hate doing, the people you despise dealing with, and the rigid schedules that govern your life. That freedom is the only true measure of financial success. Law 7. Paying the price. Investment success is never free. It has a high price tag attached, but that price is never listed clearly on the stock ticker. That price is paid in internal currency, in the agonizing form of uncertainty, self-doubt, short-term loss, and psychological regret. When the market drops violently, when the headlines scream of disaster, you are not experiencing a catastrophic failure. You are simply paying the unavoidable price for future compounding returns. Strategic commentary. The average investor tries desperately to avoid this pain, viewing every correction as a personal traffic ticket. The master investor views it as the mandatory entrance fee, the cost of doing business in a system designed to reward patience. You must pay the price calmly, without emotion, and without flinching. Only by accepting this recurring cost can you unlock the true potential of long-term wealth creation. Law 8. The man in the arena. No one's crazy. This law offers profound clarity. Housel reminds us that everyone's individual perspective on money, their risk tolerance, their fear level, and their goals is entirely shaped by their unique historical context, when and where they were born. Your friend's hyper-aggressive crypto bet might seem utterly insane to you, but to them, based on their personal history of success and failure, it feels rational. Strategic application. The lesson is to reserve absolute, definitive judgment. Never blindly copy someone else's financial decisions, and never assume they are crazy. Their risk tolerance is based on a different reality, a different set of historical trauma, and a different set of opportunities. The fastest way to define your own risk profile is through structured learning and self-assessment, not by trying to replicate the success of someone who started with a completely different clock and calendar. The final paradox. You are not a spreadsheet. Morgan Housel's most powerful lesson is this: financial strategies that look mathematically flawless on a spreadsheet almost always fail in the real world because the human element is missing. The ability to stay invested when the entire world is panicking, or to stop chasing returns when everyone else is consumed by greed, this is the true differentiator. Strategic mandate. Your financial plan must include massive room for error. Never ever operate at 100% capacity. Build a behavioral buffer in your plan so that when the inevitable external shock hits, the market crash, the policy change, the unexpected expense, you do not panic. This mental preparedness is your most important asset. Financial independence is ultimately a game of behavior, not intelligence. The wealthy are not smarter. They are simply masters of their own fear and greed. Your biggest obstacle to wealth is not outside your door, it is inside your head. Master your psychology, and you will master your destiny. If you are ready to continue building your behavioral fortress, subscribe to our channel for more deep dive strategies on power and wealth.